23-year-old Fernil Carrasco of Mauritius Viewport, rider of a motorcycle, is the island's latest road accident victim, taking the road fatality toll to 20 for the year thus far. The blood-stained scene was the end of Creole festivities for many who witnessed the gory aftermath of the collision along the Savins Bay Viewport High Road on Sunday, October 30th, 2022, about 7:15 p.m. Carrasco was reportedly traveling south when he attempted to overtake an SUV driven by an unidentified female who was also traveling south and made a turn the time of the impact. As a result of the collision, Carrasco sustained severe injuries to his head and was transported to the St. Jude Hospital by the fire and emergency personnel along with an unidentified pillion rider. Carrasco was pronounced dead about 6:45 p.m. by a medical practitioner, and the medical condition of the SUV driver and the pillion rider are unknown. Reporting for the Hot 7 TV News, I am Jasmine Duncan.
Jasmine Duncan report taking us into this segment of Beyond the Headlines. Another road fatality recorded sadly on the island, taking it to number 20 so far for the year. We continue to extend the condolences to the family, friends and loved ones of the deceased. But again, it brings into perspective and into the spotlight the issue of road safety, the issue of speed, the issue of motorcycles and the use of motorcycles on the nation's streets. Again, we see the carnage. Sad end to the Journée Creole festivities. Another young man perishing as a result of a fatal road accident. A motorcycle he was in colliding head-on with a Pajero vehicle. He did not survive. The pillion rider was taken to the hospital for medical care. Terrell, you just alert me once you're ready, and then we can have a very nice conversation. Terrol Compton, my very special guest, is here, and we're talking road safety just a bit. Terrell is still the president of the St. Lucia Motor X Club, correct?
No, I'm no longer. I'm the past president of the club.
Past president of the club. Thanks for that. But a concerned citizen, yourself, very sad whenever we see a motorcyclist and a young man going away in such tragic manner.
Well, I don't know where to begin, to be honest. We've seen a lot of it of late, which is a sad reality. We saw one on the chaussee there. That was not a pretty sight. There've just been a number of these happenings here on our roads that can be avoided, if you ask me. And I say that because I think we need to look at the age grouping of these young men who are sadly, sorry, I'm just moving away from some noise here, which are sadly losing their lives through maybe reckless driving and riding. I say maybe because I'm not there when it happens. But, you know, I think the more knowledge one has is the better one can be at doing anything. Whether it be for fun or whether it be for recreational, whether it be for the job. And I believe that is one of the key links that are missing with our motorcyclists. We see motorcycling evolve. We're in business places now using motorcycles for creating more revenue, creating services. We have delivery both with food and package, utilizing motorcycles in that sense. But if we even look at those business places, I mean, I had to call on a particular business house to say, listen, it's like almost every other day, one of the riders are down, and it's bad publicity for you from a business standpoint. I'm willing to come in and give a speech, if you want to call it that, give a review on motorcycling to help set the mindset. And that is where the issue lies. Once you have gone through the program, and I'm not saying that the people who are teaching, the instructors who are out there teaching motorcyclists to learn to ride are not doing this. But let's go back to what government did when we had a serious issue of reckless driving on our roads, no seat belts. Government implemented a must-do what you call defensive driving. So it's not that when persons went into training for their license, they didn't learn certain things. But it had to be pinpointed, it had to be zoomed in, it had to be focused on more. And so I believe the government saw that and did what is known as the defensive driving program. So after you renewed or you had your license for the first year and you're about to renew, in doing renewal, you would have to go through this program. Now, it is key to understanding that. So when you look at not having such with what's happening on our roads, it tells us we need to do something. Now, one minister said at one time, well, force riders to join clubs. Well, we can't do that. But what we can do is set a program like what was done for drivers to encourage riders to be more careful on the road. Riding is free, Shannon. Riding gives you that. I've been riding for 36 years. I ride every day, you know. My wife drives the car, you know. I ride the bike. It's a sense of freedom. It allows you to somewhat express yourself from time to time. And I think what is happening is people are taking that express yourself to the next level. No helmets. I want all my buddies to see me on that bike. You know, I want everybody to see me Dali Tikau. And what does that bring you? A sense of recklessness and not care, you know. So it's something we have to dig deep into and look at the age grouping that's losing their lives.
Yeah, because it appears like it's the new generation of riders now who are always at the end of the fatalities. A few questions for me quickly, Terrell. You get a sense that the new generation, you just buy a motorcycle and they ride, they don't go through any structured training or learning system?
You see, when you look at factor is something that will either create a good or bad, okay, in the riding world. In my riding time, I stayed off a bike for almost 2 years or so. After I sold my bike, I was still riding in between, you know, motocross and all of that. But what was strange, I read an article in a magazine, which is the Biker magazine, an English magazine, which said 75%, based on a survey, 75% of motorcyclists had accidents where a minor met a major. So you have a minor road meeting a major road. Now, you remember Deglu, there was a young man, no bike license. I don't think he had a license in general, who was on a motorcycle from coming in that Deglu road, coming out to that main road, lost his life. You know, it tells you, when you look at the area between the Marisil Junction at the top here, top of the world where the traffic lights used to be there, Marisil Beach area, going all the way up to, you could say, almost Bay Gardens even. This is a heavy traffic zone with a lot of, you know, many minor roads coming into the major road. And in general, things happen there. So one has to be very aware of that. But if you're not aware and you're not thinking it, you have not been taught that, you're just going to blast right through. There are cars side by side and you see riders, you know, heavy traffic blasting through the middle. Now that is illegal. You know, according to our law, that is illegal. You're supposed to stay behind the car just like any other vehicle because you occupy legally the same space as a vehicle. But do riders know that? And then now someone decides to open their door to see, hey, what's going on up the road there, and hits you. Are they wrong? Are you ready to say to them, well, why didn't you check your mirrors, or why didn't you do this? You didn't hear me coming. And we have to be careful with that, because it is wrong. It's not the right thing to do. But we traverse the highways and the byways in ways that enable motorcyclists to feel free and make their way to their destination. And as I alluded to, you have certain food companies and delivery companies using motorcycles. But these factors that I mentioned, that's one. Rain, gravel, on the roads. I mean, I always say there are policemen in the traffic department who ride motorcycles, and there are a few trucking companies. There are one or two that ensure that they adhere to the rules. But we overload the trucks with what you call stones, or whatever the case may be, premix and all of that. We don't put a cover on it. There is that premix on the roads. Now, what is the translation of that? Shannon, the translation of that is you're going to slip. You're going to slide. You're going to end up in a car. You're now going to have a fatality, hopefully not, all right? But you're going to have a situation where you're going to need the fire service to come with a unit. That's deploying resources. You're then going to need that unit to take someone to the hospital. Then the doctors have to be dealing with that. And it's a cascading effect of, you could say, draining the purse of citizens because someone was reckless, or because someone did not do things the way the law states it should be done, especially with the trucks. The traffic department, if you ask me, and there's the argument, oh, cars don't respect motorcyclists, but motorcyclists also have to look at how we behave on the roads. Do we, behave in a manner that will let the cars and other users of the road respect us? You seldom see a motorcyclist maybe stopping for a pedestrian. They'll go first. There's certain things we can do, to change.
Go ahead. I was about to go there because a lot of motorcyclists say, boy, the other drivers, they don't respect us at all. But you balance the argument fairly there that it goes two ways. The drivers and the riders have an important role to play.
I can never forget this. A prominent businessman, I know him. I didn't get a chance to speak to him, but I'll give you a description of him. A prominent businessman, drives top-end car, plays golf at a top-end location. And I was just passing the gentleman slowly, Shannon. This freaked me out. Slowly. If I was 5 miles an hour, I was a lot. Passing this gentleman, and there was a space in front of him. It happened in front of the Rodney Bay supermarket there. And here I am passing, and all of a sudden the car sped up. He stepped on the gas, and I'm like, oh, what's going on here? And when he stepped on the gas, I was trying to fit in to the space which was ahead of him, so I overtake. And it's almost like I could not. So when I slowed down next to him, I said, but what you doing? Oh, you motorcyclists again, you guys. You just don't care, you guys. And in his attempt to block me, looking at me, he almost ran into the back of a car. It tells you he's upset with motorcyclists. So the minute he saw the motorcycle, oh, you're trying to fit in front of me. So then, of course, I went ahead, the car went ahead, and then I got into the natural space of which a car and motorcycle legally is supposed to maintain. And I looked to the back of him and pointed to my back of my motorcycle to say, well, hit me now. And Shannon would have been probably a millionaire if he did. Because what he doesn't know is I have a recording device on my motorcycle that was being recorded. You see? Now, I say that because going back to the argument of how people feel when they see a motorcyclist. There's a not so great one in the evening time where a gentleman lost his life by Lago. A lady who was driving her car said he passed so close to her, he shouted at her, boom! And he was riding, I believe, was a scooter. And within less than a minute, here he is, no longer alive. But the rate at which he passed and was so close to her that he could have uttered something to her tells you that we need to do something about it. Now, I'm pleading to the motorcycle clubs. Motorcycle clubs have grown. We have the female club Sesame Street. We have the guys in Dennery. We have the guys and View Fort. I mean, you have so many different clubs out there now, and I'm pleading to these motorcyclists because we have to, it makes us look bad. So we have to take charge to say to our friends or our friends' friends, to come on, that's not the way to ride. Wear the helmet. Yeah. Let's reinforce helmet. You know, I got a charge brought against me because I had this good on my number plate, $500. And I said to myself that this officer stopped me in a roadblock. I had gloves, helmet, not just me, 4 of us, cladded all the way, all bikes legal, paperwork. And it was like I'm trying to find something on these motorcyclists in my mind. And he looked at my number plate and he said, aha, that's a charge. So I said, what is a charge? He says, you're displaying the number on your plate without the way it was issued. And I didn't have Gangster 5 or, you know, take off all bad. You know, it was, I was saying to myself, wow, this is what you're going to target me on. I said, clearly you don't know me, I don't know you, that's fine. I saw other officers there, you know, and we had a nice chat about it later on. But what is the focus from the police traffic side to aid with this situation? Crack it down and make sure we target between the Grosile Highway and Grosile, I mean, what you call the to the mall, JQ Mall and Grosile. If an officer on a motorcycle just purchases himself anywhere in between there, I can assure you that he will have enough tickets of no helmet, yes, by the dozen, because it is known in this area to see scooters, riders without helmets. So we have to make a statement that one, now someone say, well, you know, that wouldn't stop the carnage, that wouldn't, but it changes the mindset from there. You know, to know that, boy, you know, if I jump on my motorcycle, I don't wear my helmet, there's a 75% chance I'll get a ticket. It will change my mindset as to how I ride. It will be a start. And that is important to get that feel going amongst motorcyclists. And more so the scooter riders, that is a start. And I think traffic department needs to look into that and start a campaign on that notion, because there is a video that was circulated of a gentleman who slid off the bike and ended up under what was like you know, those bigger trucks than what we see carrying staff to work, those coasters. And the gentleman had his helmet, and it went over it literally drove over the helmet like it was a speed bump. And the man picked up himself. I mean, the first time I saw the video and I saw the front of this big bus coming around, I said, oh my God, and boom, boom. I'm an EMT, so I can deal with carnage in front of me, but I hate people sending me videos of these things because it makes me think as to what happened, what I would have done, and I get a little, you know, touchy about it. But that video said, wear a helmet. Yeah. You know, you see billboards now being advertised by certain business places with motorcycles saying, wear a helmet. The next question is, are we allowing any helmet to come in St. Lucia?
Yeah, that's
you know, where we set in the standard.
That's a discourse. The Bureau of Standards has to set a standard for the importation of these things.
I did a document that was about 4 to 5 page long, and I sent it to the Bureau of Standards for approval to have only certified DOT, which is Department of Transport, but we have to be careful with that. FN 9927, I believe, is the number. It must say that FN on it. Why? FM, sorry. Why? Because a lot of people just stick DOT on something and says, you know, hey, it's DOT certified. It's beyond DOT certified right now. You see? And there's certain style of helmets. For example, on the European market, you cannot have a helmet that goes in and out through the loop and then fastens. It must be a clip, a quick release clip. And why is that? For safety. If you have to remove a helmet on someone who is in an emergency, suffered trauma to the head, and you think neck, back, and spine, how you remove this helmet is critical. So in the European world, this is the standard for any helmet in the European side. The American, though, you can have both. So these are the things we need to look into. And this document circulated, I know the Red Cross got it, I know I got a call from Mr. Felix Decker, who was once head of traffic, because he saw the document. It was circulated. But has it ever been proved? Has it been customs got it? Where are we? So someone would tell me, what have you done? These are the little things that I can do in my little capacity. And all the clubs are advocating for safe riding. You see it on their Facebook sites. You see we talk about wearing the protective gear. But we can only do so much.
Absolutely. And it's a discussion that we must have, Terrell. That is why all of St. Lucia enjoys when you share perspective on road safety, particularly with the motorcyclists. Finally, there is a great need for public sensitization and education campaign for the new generation of riders and all road users as well.
Indeed. It's important. I plead to those business houses that utilize motorcyclists to aid in the advancement of their business in one way or another. I plead to them to set the example, reach out to persons or businesses like your TV station or whatever there. And I must thank you too, because that is the start. If everybody speaks to that, if everybody puts in a little quick 5-second, if so much 4-second, wear a helmet. It is so important. The message will get around, and people will start looking at each other like, boy, you don't have a helmet, or you don't have proper shoes.
What are you doing?
We will get somewhere, Shannon, but we need these business houses. We need these, us St. Lucians, motorcycle clubs, to start that campaign rolling.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to take government.
It doesn't take
but
government.
We need the government too, eh?
Yeah, we have strong corporate people as well. We need government too, but we can start something. So we'll link you up with Cindy Ann and our good friends from Courts. I know Mr. Johannes would fully back the idea. Let's start some PSAs, at least one. With Courts and with yourself to get the message out there. But pleasure always talking to you, my good man. You work where most vacation, so I want to wish you the best for the remainder of the day.
Yes, well, thank you, my brother, and to your listeners. Good morning, St. Lucia. Love the program. Very, inciting program. It does a lot for us to build the psyche. You see different aspects of it. Love the production, and to your team that's behind you. Job well done. Have a blessed one and stay safe likewise.
You as well, Terrell. Blessed Tuesday to you. Stay safe.
Thank you.
Terrol Compton, past president of the St. Lucia Motor Club, talking road safety this morning. Very important discussion, very important message to riders and all road users. Let us slow down and let us exercise safety when traversing the nation's roadways. My next guest is already standing by. We have one more stop before we go downtown Castries, where there's going to be some protest action this morning. We'll have a live footage for you. But one more stop at the Borderley Correctional Facility, but the Boys Training Center next, right here on Good Morning St. Lucia. Stay with us now. It's a vibe at sunrise.